Welcome on netbooknews.it. This is the review for the 12-inch ASUS Eee PC 1215B. There are two versions of this Eee PC available in Italy. And today we're going to talk about the more powerful one with the APU AMD E350, available from June 2011. Anyway, both models are 12 inches, resolution 1366x768 pixels, with island keyboard, large touchpad, and cotton to cover up the webcam. The differences are in terms of hardware and output's endowment. This model has USB 3.0 port on the right side and a more powerful hardware with more RAM memory pre-installed. Here we have 3 GB of RAM memory and a 320 GB hard drive. Everything else is actually the same. Matte finishes for most used parts. For example, the palm rest, touchpad, lid, and the back of the netbook, so that we have no problems with finger marks. The only shiny parts are the keyboard, in the space between one key and the other, and the frame around the glossy screen. So we can see that from the aesthetic point of view, the two models are more or less the same. The island keyboard is firm. That was a weak point in the previous models of the 1215 series. The construction quality is excellent, as always, talking about ASUS Eee PC category. And what's more, there are nice finishes, like the on-off switch for wireless connectivity, the switch to start Express Gate, that is the minimal operating system that works alongside Windows, and the LED to indicate if the system is running or not. In a word, many useful finishes. A flaw, in my opinion, is the hinge that doesn't go beyond this tilt angle, and that can seem uncomfortable in several situations. The real interesting part of this 1215B is the hardware. Now, let's start saying that this model serves as an alternative for the 1215N DE-VX6, so the netbook line with dual-core Atom processor and NVIDIA Ion 2. So we have a product born to play HD videos. In fact, here we have also an HDMI output, with a good multitasking in everyday use and gameplay, by the way, games not so new but still funny. The AMD APU E350, the version installed in this model, is made up of a 166 GHz dual-core processor and a Radeon 6310 graphics card. This means that while playing videos, we have a noteworthy range of codec and size compatibility. You can play 1080p without any kind of problem, streaming as well as local source, especially when set up codec and players to use the graphics acceleration. So, HD video playing is not a problem at all. The same as when you play games or any other application where you need to use graphics card. In everyday use, like creating documents, showing photos and web surfing, the system does definitely better than the Atom models. Generally speaking, we can say that if we run applications that use the multi-core, we have more or less the same performances with this hardware platform than with the Atom Ion 2. The real edge of this Zacate platform E350 is that while using single-core application, therefore web browsing, Windows basic use, work documents, it's all easier and faster. Actually, we have a much more modern netbook, faster than the Atom models. And now, let's get the netbook started. Here is a trailer Blu-ray, 1080p, full screen. No problem at all. As you can see, the CPU is not high, about 30%. Another one, 720p, full screen, It's the same. The 12-inch screen is perfect for videos and films, because it's not so small, but it's very handy. And now let's take a look at the web surfing. We can open many tabs without any problems at all, thanks to the good response time of the system, like we've already said. On YouTube, we can easily play full HD videos.
Metto a schermo intero.
The netbook delivers good results in playing games too, as long as certain conditions are met.
Ho fatto il test, poi vedremo il risultato nell'articolo completo. Questo è tutto con le impostazioni standard, non ho toccato nulla rispetto al solito, rispetto alle impostazioni del programma, ovviamente.
The best we've seen so far about the AMD's arcade platform is that it doesn't cause a decrease in terms of battery life or excessive power consumption. On the contrary, this platform has an 18-watt TDP, so that includes graphic cards and processor. I made 3 tests trying out different kinds of usages. Battery life is about 6 hours surfing the net, 4 hours and 37 minutes playing non-stop HD videos, and 3 hours and 8 minutes playing games, therefore keeping the processor and the graphic card at 100%. These are results that we could expect from netbooks with Atom processor, that usually have this good battery life. But not these excellent performances. They are very important if you need a netbook that lasts during the whole working day. The battery is obviously removable. It's a 6 cells 5200 mAh. On the back we also have a door that allows to access the RAM memory and to install an extra 4 GB at the utmost in 2 slots, so 2 GB each. Well then, we come up to the strengths and weaknesses of the product. On the one hand, the strengths we can mention are the good mix of battery life and performances, one of the best I've ever seen in this category of netbooks. The quality of the construction. The large touchpad with multi-touch function, really comfortable, although maybe not so much for these buttons that are noisy and stiff at first use, but it gets better with time. The keyboard is large and comfortable too. It's not the best in the category, but it's good to write, and a good alternative for netbooks with bigger keyboards. The heating is quite normal, just on the back of the netbook, so you don't feel the heat through the palm rest or the touchpad. Moreover, the noise of the computer fan behind this grid on the left side is not so annoying. Among the weaknesses, on the other hand, we can mention the screen that is glossy, and for that, despite the good brightness, in the open air it becomes mirror-like. A matte-type screen would be surely more appreciated. Something to say about the screen too. Apart from the good viewing angles, in my opinion, the product is sold with wrong default settings on the ATI driver. Obviously, you can use the Windows tool to reset the screen, but it's a trick that not everybody knows. Anyway, I like this 1215B, a real alternative to the 1215N model with Ion installed. For any further information, you can go to see the benchmarks in the complete review. This netbook is good for working, but also for the whole family, or writing while traveling, thanks to the battery life, the large screen and the island key. Let me remind you that there are 2 versions of this model. The one we talked about in this review, with the AMD Zacate E350, and the other, for your information, shows lower performances because of the different processor and graphics card. But for the same difference, I guess the battery life would be increased. Both models are available from the beginning of June with a sale price of €349. Well, that's all for now. See you soon for the next review. Keep following us on eepc.it and netbooknews.it for information about netbooks, tablets, and much more.